So, Rojo, you're first. Are you good to go?
Yes, yes. I'll open my
Oh,
camera. Excuse me if I'm not presentable, but yeah,
You're always presentable, Rojo.
thank you. Thank you. So let's figure um, this thing out. So share my screen here. And can you see my screen? I know. Uh, okay, let me see. Why can't I click on this? Interesting. Okay, give me a second. Let's figure this thing out. Okay, slideshow. All right, should. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
yes.
All right, so um, the title of this project is the Founder Round 4 Best Contributors Experiment. Originally, it was the Founder Round 3, it became the Founder Round 4, and hopefully, we'll produce something that works for all the subsequent rounds. I will start by giving you some background and also the background image that you can see here actually does represent our project a bit. So I wrote a prompt on I think it was ChatGPT 4. Whatever photo generating thing they have on OpenAI. I wrote to give me like basically a board that has humans and AI machines, and it gave me this. It doesn't have any humans. That's telling a bit, but hopefully we'll have humans and machines. Um, and that's kind of in the core of what this project is about. The problem statement, or let's say the main topic, is how can we reward contributors after each defunding? And here the question raises quality versus quantity that we have been having for a while. And so far it has been quantity, but in the last round we did something very interesting, which was about the quality of the contribution. And we tried to get the best contributors and then like reward them directly. And we really restricted it to 10 people. And now, the question is, how do we reproduce that and how do we make it actually sustainable? If we're getting, let's say, millions of, well, not millions, let's say tens of thousands of contributors, like how do we keep that system working? And that's what we're kind of trying to do. The goals are basically to decrease the technical difficulty in distributing and assigning tasks. And the task that I'm referring to here is that the people who are basically kind of grading the contributors are reviewers, and these reviewers are humans, well, as of now. And we need to assign these tasks and assign them some those contributions so that they can grade them on some certain scale. Um, we would like to reduce human bias when we're reviewing these textual comments. I mean, obviously, when you're given a grade, the difference between, let's say, a 5 and a 6 on a 10 scale is, well, arguable, right? We would like to ensure randomness and fairness in the process. So if I am the person or Jan is the person who's assigning this task, well, how do we know that you assigned it on a, let's say, fair basis or whatever? And last one is to provide a smooth experience for reviewers. We would like our reviewers to get to the, let's say, to the work very smoothly and very quickly without having to go to jump through hoops so that they can review whatever contribution that is. What we will do in our project is four things. And obviously, this is an ideation project. So we will not have a very, let's say, robust solution at the end, but rather we will have a working minimal viable product that can be tested. And then we can have the conversation based upon that to say, would we, as a community, like to go with the same vision and actually implement this uh, to be scalable? Or do we think it's maybe a silly thing to do and let's stick to another approach? Either can be true, obviously. So the first thing, we will provide like an action plan and an architecture of the solution that that we want to implement. And this one will be open source. We'll present it in one of the town halls, and we would like to have conversations around that so that we can tweak it um, such that it does go with the vision of the community, because at the end it does serve the community. We're not building it for ourselves. The second thing is developing an MVP based on that specification from the previous step. Once we have a working MVP, we will do two types of experiments, and those are the third and the fourth point. The first point is we would like to simulate random data. So basically, it's not going to be that random. Obviously, it does have the structure of a contribution that we typically find, whether in Sway or whether in the platform now, uh, comments and sub comments. And we will kind of generate them probably using OpenAI's GPT or another LLM, and generate random data with different qualities and play a little bit with the prompts, and then feed that to the tool that we have. And we're thinking of hiring reviewers as well, and then make the whole experiment as if it's actually around and we have actual contributions. And then the next step is to move from, let's say, random fictional not true data that is randomly generated into actual data that we have from the previous round, and also from the actual round that we're going through now. Even though it's a test round, the data will be limited, but we can include it in the experiment. And then but what's going to be different? Because obviously you can say, oh, okay, in the last round you already did it, right? Like you had reviewers and you already did the thing. The thing that is going to be different is that in both of these, whether it's the previous one, which is the simulation, or this one, which is the defounded round three testing, we would like to include AI agents. What I mean by that is we're gonna fine tune some models, whether it's a GPT agent. We're going to try a couple of ones. Obviously, it's not going to be just one, a GPT agent, a Mistral fine-tuned kind of agent. And we're going to kind of mix all of those and get different gradings from those agents, and then compare it with what the humans are saying. And then we would like to see statistically, well, are, are these two results coherent? And if not, why are they not coherent? And that's something we would like to present to the community, so that we kind of have that conversation. Do we want to include AI as one of the uh, uh, as giving us feedback on our contributions and maybe even scoring us? Like, that's a big question. Do we want AI to score our contribution, and maybe that will reflect in our reputation, and all these kind of interesting questions that will come out of it. um, the team behind it, there is me. I'm gonna be a coordinator, bit of a process designer. I have a little bit of a background with the problem, so uh, let's say I have a couple of ideas to test. But the main work, which is the implementations, are going to be done by Ranam, who's a full stack developer. And obviously, with the web app, we're going to aim for going for a low code solution, because we don't want to be, let's say, as involved, since it's not actually a project but rather an ideation phase project. And we have Safar with as a data scientist, and that's she's going to be taking care of all what's experimentation in terms of implementing the AI agents, and also comparing the results between the humans and the AI agents. Um, it's kind of that. I tried to keep it concise. Hopefully, I didn't go over time, but if anyone has a question, uh, go for it.
When will be the first run when this is awarded? When would you like to start performing a public test, please?
That's very interesting. So obviously the first two steps will be the ideation, and including, well, releasing basically those documents, the planning documents and the architecture, to the public. Uh, I understand that we can run after that, and then like just provide the architecture and then run through development. But in my opinion, we should take a little bit of a break, and hear from the community, like, how can we change this, and what are the kind of iterations they would like to see. Um, I'm trying to stay with that opinion because I do understand eventually like this let's say product is for defrauding community, and they're going to be affected by it if it gets implemented eventually. So I really would like to have that conversation. Obviously, I don't want to wait months, but as long as we feel like we get some feedback, maybe do like one town hall. And as you can see, I'm trying to think this through because this is not something I really thought about before about like the exact timeline. But I would say probably running through one town hall and then giving like a week to get some feedback on in form, and then right after that, like implementing these, and then the development can take anything between a month and a half. So the experimentation is right after. So the calculation is a bit messed up, but hopefully this was clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Rojo. I think it's a great idea. You already did work on this in the previous round, and it's much needed. And I think yeah, even today I had conversations that would tap into this right here. So I think it's important. I think it's an urgent, and I think it's wonderful that you are just taking this initiative. So congratulations on that. One thing while listening to you, I'm always thinking ahead in these things, and I was thinking, so I can imagine if this really works after a couple of rounds and we get faith in it, that it might also impact the how contributions are displayed. So the best contributions, according to this tool, could be displayed more prominently. And then the question would come up, is this something that could also be done in a real time or almost real time situation?
I see what you're saying. So I see where you're going. I think it's very interesting, actually. I think it's very interesting. Um, uh, well, obviously, if it's gonna be implemented to rank the comments as the round is already going, then the human factor is not gonna be prominent there. So it's gonna be AI agents giving you a ranking, maybe. Well, not like real time, but near real time. Let's say maybe on a daily basis or something like that. That could be interesting. But obviously, I can see people already commenting on this and maybe criticizing this decision. And I would say it will need, as you said, I mean, it will need some couple of rounds and fate. Um, and fate obviously will come from the fact that people see that the results are working and they're good results. Um, so yeah,
We'll take
I
it
don't
one
see why
step at
not.
a time. It could be a kind of adversarial network where contributions are being created by AI, and then we using our AI to call out them. Or if they are really good AI contributions, then maybe there's also nothing wrong with that. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's the future. Interesting.
this is definitely interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.